Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hello. I kick my shoes off. Get a little loose. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It is June 25th, 2019. I'm your pre-show navigator here for the Night Attack stream. Bryce Castillo. Hello, everybody. Hi. How's your Tuesday going? How's your Tuesday going? Oh, Renaigu makes a very good point. It's half Christmas. We are broadly 6 months away from Christmas. Hey, that's very cool. Hello, everybody. Hi. And it's Jay Van Allen's birthday. Hello. Thank you for spending your birthday with us. We got a big shoe for you a little bit later on. We've got Mikey Newman. You know him. You love him from Film Joy. Movies with Mikey. Deep Dive. He's going to be on the show. He's got a new quiz. He was bragging on Twitter. Now this man's was bragging on Twitter saying, quote, "Hope you got your question answering shoes on tonight. I'm bringing a corker." I'll tell you what, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Hi, everybody. Let me take a slug. Oh man. So we get a little late today. I try to be here before the show. Sometimes stuff happens. Something happened today. And, oh, Mike TV Live, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you very much. Hey, yeah, check out his book. Only 3 days left. Check it out, yellow420.com/GSG book, the number one. Oh, yeah, in the raid message. Mike TV Live is here with the Kickstarter. 3 days left. There you go. Check it out. Check it out. Check the link. So we had, I was wrestling a little bit whether or not I should have watched this today or not. Because I knew it was an involved thing. I knew I was getting to the point where it's a very involved thing. And it's been what I've actively been watching the past week now, honestly, yeah. And I'm still digesting it. So last week Netflix got the rights for Neon Genesis Evangelion. One of the most... How would you describe it? Famous is not right. One of the most... I don't know. It's certainly influential. It's a big anime. It's a big anime. Partially because it's mech. It's mechs and it's fighting. Alexpert says infamous. Dan33 says notorious. Revered Whiskey Wolf says that's good. Alexpert says classic. Yeah, that's good. Groundbreaking, sure. And so they got the rights to the original 95 series plus the original movies that they made, the Death and Rebirth and the End of Evangelion. And so I just finished it. Because we had Mikey on, so I didn't need to write a game today, and I'm watching it with the dubs and the subtitles, or with the subtitles, no dubs, and I knew that the last two episodes, 25 and 26, are infamous. Those are infamous episodes because and you watch them. You watch them, and they're a very strong departure from the previous 24 episodes. Alex Bird says, if you understand the last two episodes, you are encouraged to write your dissertation now. I'm going to get to that. And so the last two episodes are very, like, the episode 25 starts, and it starts with this, like, the previous episode had, like, this big ending, and it was setting up this next thing. And the start of 25 has a series of on-screen text that say, so we're going to jump forward a year, there were a lot of stories, and a thing that could have happened. Now let's take a look into just the main character Shinji's story. Let's just focus on Shinji's experience, and so it becomes this very abstract deconstruction and I don't know, concentration on both Shinji's mental state and his psyche, along with the other people in his life for various reasons that the show explains. And so I got through those 2 episodes, and I actually did enjoy them. I pretty much picked up what it was putting down. I don't want to spoil it. If you've seen, people are saying congratulations in the chat. If you've seen the congratulations video, I think all that stuff makes sense. But then I knew that there was the end of Evangelion. So 2 years after they finished airing Evangelion, maybe even a year, they went back and made this movie at the end of Evangelion, which is like, even they set it up in this movie as episodes 25 and 26, kind of 2 more finale episodes, kind of bridging the gap between where the 24th episode goes and what happens in 25 and 26. And so I was like, well, I gotta watch this now because I'm gonna start talking about it. And everybody says if you watch them, you should watch the end of Evangelion right after it. So I finished watching that, and that is all the transition into. That's why I was like, and I really don't think that I liked. There's a lot of things that I liked about the end of Evangelion. It was visually really striking in a way that the show episodes were very emotionally engaging. This was like you could tell they put a lot of money into producing this like hour and a half of animation, like iconic visuals. But the thing I don't like about it is I don't think that it it clears up anything from the original. I don't think it answers many more questions than the series sort of left you with. At least that's my take on it. Oh, we've got Justin Robert Young calling in. Noted anime expert Justin Robert Young calling into the stream. Hi, Justin.
Oh, hi. We're here for anime talk. That's and right. Boy, am I here to deliver it. I love it. Love that shit. Love it.
That's right. We're talking about Evangelion. I finished watching Evangelion right before we got here.
People really got a boner for this one here, Bryce. And apparently it's a pretty old one.
It is. It's from 1995.
But yeah, people. So it's never been on a streaming service like ever. People have had to just like find it on Metasploit or whatever.
Yeah, not ever on a streaming service. Not ever on like VOD or digital distribution. They made DVDs, and I think they did make some laser discs. It probably was early enough.
I love them. I love Evangelion. It's so good. I like to watch it on Laserdisc.
And but it's very hard to find those DVDs right now, right? Because like Amazon has them listed for like $400 because they're marketplace listings.
Yeah.
And Ibo Robotosa says torrents exist. Well, yeah, for sure. But also like, come on, let's do this right.
Look, man, if you're trying to impress some fly honeys, you're not gonna show off your torrents on the wall. No, you're gonna show off your DVDs or your Laserdisc. It's not called torrents and chill. It's called Netflix and chill. Get with the now, bro. Ski.
Yeah. And so I don't know. It's a very heady ending, Justin. The ending of Evangelion.
Yeah.
Because I was describing it a little bit before you called in. The last 2 episodes of the show were so abstract and focused on a person's internal psyche that they went and had to make a feature-length film to add an ending.
Explain what the fuck happened.
Yeah. But so I'm positing I don't think that the movie is as good as those abstract, weird episodes. I don't think it is.
Oh, of course you would. You love that shit, you hipster fuck.
No, it makes sense.
You're like, oh god, this is so good. So good. I didn't understand any of it.
No.
The best.
I understood it all. It was it is heavy.
Nobody else for the last 25 years. Thank God you came along and they put it up on Netflix.
Fuck. And so someone was mentioning earlier in the chat, because when they brought it to Netflix, I guess the version that they licensed from the studio is a new localization. So they did new dubs and subtitles for the show, because the original company that made them doesn't exist anymore. And
are people do people like, because I do know enough anime fans, which is to say anybody under the age of 30 who works in San Francisco, that this is a controversial topic. People are either reputations are made or dashed based on dubs and subs.
Yeah. Well, and one of it was very weird, because I had never seen the show before this initial watching, but there's a character that they introduced very late in the show, way later than I thought he would be introduced, and for way less time than I thought he would be a part of the show. Where I guess in the original localization they made him say "I love you" to a character instead of what the new localization is, which is "I like you."
Oh, and that's a big moment in it tells a different story if it's "I love you" versus "I like you."
Yeah, and it's to a male character, so there's also like a queer element to it.
Oh, gotcha. On whether or not.
Right. And so people are looking at, oh well, this is the guy who made the new subtitles, and then what does he got to say about stuff?
Wait, so were people upset that it was that they de-escalated it, that it was no longer "I love you," it was now "I like you"?
Right. And Grant, so the term for it, the term that he says in the show is "suki," right, which is a form of like, but it's also a form of like. It's not love. Love is like "I" or "koi."
Gotcha.
So ski is like a level below that, and so it would not be. I don't think I would say.
Would it be in American like a "love ya"?
No, I think it would be. I think like is a very comparable word in that
I like you. All right,
right.
so then they did it right.
I think so. Or I think there's enough wiggle room in it
that it's not a queer whitewashing.
Erasure, right? And there are more moments.
It's not straight washing it. They didn't straight wash it until it didn't have any queer left.
Right. And there are other. I mean, right after that moment, they go and go to a hot spring together. And so it's like but like Alex first says, like there's always nuance with any translation that is just very tough to kind of get through. Like for example, there's a game series that has come out the past few years called Danganronpa. It's like a murder mystery sort of school game, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so people die, and you have to find out who did it, otherwise the serial killer gets to go free. And a like core tenet of the game, like a core plot point of that game, is the abstract concept of despair. And so like all the bad guys are not like trying to end the world or trying to take over the world or spread whatever. Like all they want is to spread despair among humanity. And that's a very like broad term, but I feel like that's a very common way of handling motivations in Japanese that it always feels weird being translated, because it's like we have despair is an abstraction, right? It's a feeling.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's it has some stuff like that, but it's translation's hard.
Translation, man.
Yeah.
Fucking these languages. When are we gonna knock it off? It's fucking foolish. He's running around speaking different language.
Yeah.
What do you say? One day, all the languages, they're all combined randomly. AI combines all languages randomly, right? And then we all got to figure it out. Everyone's illiterate tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Rosetta Stone 2.
Well, no, that would be the
Reckoning.
Tower of Babel, right?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. The Tower of Babel. Yeah.
So we're all illiterate tomorrow. And then, no, fuck that. MDA, UK, we all speak Chinese. Fuck, no. Nuh-uh. Because if we settle on one, then I'm going to fucking argue for English. And then we're back where we started, where everyone's doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So we all got to start from scratch. Everybody, it's all pig Latin.
Have you? Okay. I have no links to bring this up. I have no examples to show you. But have you ever met anyone who is really interested in creating their own language, and not like how children want to make?
No. Oh yeah, no. Shit, I don't know if it was one person, but I definitely went through a phase of understanding how languages were created. Specifically in sci-fi languages, where like building, like the building blocks of certain things, and then I found there is like a basic key if you're going to build a sci-fi language, or some website where you could actually like it showed you the core like notes of a language that then you could build upon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I knew a person very briefly who was
really into doing it,
very interested, and had like made YouTube videos about his insane weird new language.
Yeah.
So
that sounds a little bit more intense. Like I just kind of got interested in the concept. I never really stepped into like, oh no, if I was going to do it. It was more of me actually, no, you want to know what? It was during Weird Things, and it was when I was doing a lot more video content for Weird Things or live stream content for Weird Things, and I was like looking at the I got into some deep dive on Klingon versus Dothraki versus like Romulan, like the basic when you what happens when all of a sudden somebody comes to you and they're like, hey, we need to adapt this language, like this used to be a thing in some abstract way, and now characters need lines, so we need to feed actors lines. What are they actually saying, and what does it mean? Can it actually be translated? Is it a full language, or are you just making up gibberish?
Yeah.
And a lot of them, they are full languages, like either by initial creation or fan involvement. People have filled out these whole fucking languages.
Yeah.
We're talking about like sci-fi languages?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about Bryce's weird fucking friend who apparently really got into building his own language.
He was deep in the paint on designing his own language.
I mean, and I assume this is after taking a full linguistics suite of courses and getting a master's degree or PhD, so you understand the fundamentals of how language is constructed.
We didn't quite get to that point.
Syntax.
If he did, I don't know about it. Hey, Brian.
That was we've talked about it before, but man, one of the best classes I ever took was called Languages of Science Fiction, and really it was just a intro to linguistics course in disguise. And but you get to, like, your homework assignments were to read certain short stories, and you had to analyze which of like the three big cop-outs that people use. Like like one is aliens saying, "We've watched all of your human broadcasts and learned your language," you know. And then another one is when it comes to constructing alien languages, you could just straight up cheat the way Frank Herbert did with Dune, where it's all just Arabic. Like Shai Hulud, they even say jihad. You know, it's amazing. And then there was what was I remember my friend Jonathan Pace, who took that class. He volunteered a fourth, which was what Kang and Kodos do on The Simpsons, which is the cop-out of, What? We're not speaking English. We speak whatever their name is. It just happens to word for word sound exactly like English.
that's the TARDIS cop out, where no matter where in time and space they are, everybody talks like British actors.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Although that kind of works if you're just gonna wave your hands at it. It's like it's
I
either
think
that
it's
or you get no show. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, like, that show is way better if it's just like, oh yeah, let's get into why this snowman is kissing everybody.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Hey, well, shit. Do we want to tell the? Do we want to tell the story?
Make
the
it a pre-show bit
now?
Yeah. Well, in fact, that'll be. Let's do it as a pre-show bit, and then we'll just mention it right at the top and remind people that this is why patrons have a grand life.
Hey, Bryce, guess what we're gonna talk about?
I have a very strong idea. I guess I should pull up some form of
Documentation.
yeah.
All right, so let me tell this from my perspective, because I believe my perspective was the most magical. Brian's was probably the more stressful.
I gotta be honest. It was pretty magical from my perspective.
Well, let me just maybe more a serendipity. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there. We're waiting to go to a movie, and I'm at the Heart and Dagger Saloon there in Oakland, California, and I'm waiting for Ashley. Play a game of Hearthstone, and I don't know if I can count on my hands the amount of times that I've randomly just decided to spectate my friends on Hearthstone. I feel like it's been less than 10.
It's certainly been less than 5 in our entire friendship and relationship with this game.
And normally when I'm like, we're usually on the phone talking about some other shit, and Brian's like, ooh, I got this matchup here. And I'm like, oh, cool. If you're going to be distracted, then I might as well also be distracted with you while I'm giving advice.
At least we're distracted by the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, we can just do the same thing. So, but I decided, I'm like, you know what? I wonder how many stars Brian's at. And you can't tell initially. I just see that he's rank 1, but he's playing. So I go ahead and decide that I'm going to spectate Brian. And so you bring me up to speed of what was happening before that.
Well, yeah, what was happening before that was I woke up that morning after having a huge backslide. I went from like rank 1 2 stars and just had a rough go and slid all the way down to like rank 3 2 stars.
Jesus. Yeah.
And just, whatever, because it was the day after Night Attack, right? It was Wednesday. Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, that's a
Thursday.
light day.
No, it was Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I started working my way back, and I got closer and closer, and then by the time you popped in, it was the end of the day, and I was just thrilled that I had hit, 2 stars on rank 1 again. I'm like, back to normal. And Whiskey Wolf in the chat, who's been my mentor through all this, he says, look, man, I treat it like, your job is just 1 star a day. Once you got there, just back away. And so, and I was like, well, I mean, if you're on a run, you just keep on going. You never know.
Yeah.
And so, when you came in, I thought I was farther ahead than I was, but you came in and I won the game, and that got me to rank 1 3 star. And then, and I was like, oh man, that's 3 stars. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 more wins to go, right? And then played another one, and it was 4 stars. And then played another one and won. And for the first time ever, it was rank 1, fully loaded with 5 stars. And then I was like, holy shit, man, I guess we're gonna go. And so I click go, and there are certain matchups that are not easier, but
more favorable.
Correct.
More favorable. And I think especially when you get to that rank, like really 3 and above, you tend to have players who they know the decks, they know the strategy. Everyone's basically playing the most advantageous strategy that they can. So you get players like, there's more early round quitting, I think, at the top levels, because you get a lot of guys that are like, all right, whatever. I'm not going to hope that they make a mistake or they accidentally walk away from their computer. That not for me. So it's like you wind up getting a very specific kind of play, and you got a favorable one. Like there's probably even a chance that on like turn 3 or 4 that they could leave.
No, well, this was the very last one, the one that took to Legend, was a mirror match, and it was somebody running the exact same deck I had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like the first card he played was an indication of like, okay, we're definitely both have the same deck. And so it's really interesting when you do a mirror match because your whole strategy changes. It's like, what do I hate the most?
Yeah.
What do I fear the most when I play my deck? And it's like, that's my job, is to do that. And so he kept putting down mechs, and I just kept knocking them away. He was never able to really get a foothold because that deck depends on, having an anchor to buff up stuff. And then I think it was like a turn 5 or 6 that I realized, oh my God, it's now 26 health to 6. And I was and at this point, Justin and I in the chat are just throwing gibberish. The speech bubble is just like blah, 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 just raw excitement of key mashing.
So now, hold on. All right, so let's switch back to me. I'm in this bar, and now Ashley's there, and I'm just ignoring her. Like I'm literally, this is just like the most excited that I've been for a sporting event ever. Like, but I'm not looking at the television. I'm just looking at my phone, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. Yeah, you got it. I'm so fucking excited. And I'm like explaining to Ashley. I'm like, okay, well, if he drops this, if he does, is he gonna? Shit, he doesn't have it. Brian's got
it. Yeah, no, it was pretty great. It was a great moment, and then I hit it, and then and of course you get that silly perk where you get a special card back. So it's like, I get the impression that it's kind of gauche to wear your legend card back at the actual legend level. But if you want to intimidate people at the lower levels, then you put on your Letterman jacket.
It looks kind of plain.
Yeah, it is. It is, but that's sort of like canonical, right? That's the canonical card back. But it was man, what a blast! And to my surprise,
never die, Bryce. Think of it like this: it's the Evangelion of card back.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Can you check the version of Evangelion that you're watching and see if Brett Weaver is one of the voice actors on there?
Sure. Because on the new dub, or because they have a whole new English dub?
Oh, you're watching a whole new English one.
Well, they made a whole new English dub.
That was Netflix's edition and
Got it. So he's probably not on that one, but I believe
I think
Brett was.
Yeah, I can check the old cast, but yeah, I think with this new one, they didn't even get the original actors.
Yeah, I would love to know if that's the one. It was really fun introducing Snubs to Brett, because I'm like, oh, you guys would get along famously. Brett does anime, and you could tell Snubs has heard this from a lot of people. And I introduced the two of them, and I make it about 7 or 8 steps away, and then I hear her. I don't hear what was said, except I hear her go, holy cow! And then now all of a sudden the chatter is like 2x speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his last name?
Weaver. Weaver. Yeah. We'll see if that's
look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a Wikipedia page. So from Austin, Texas. So here you go.
Yeah. Right on. Oh, that's right. He was on Attack on Titan. What else? Yeah, dude's done a lot.
Case closed. Who's he in Evangelion? Oh, he's in Death and Rebirth. Okay, that's in the. They made a recap movie when they made a movie for the new ending.
We were.
Toji. Oh, he plays the friend. I got it.
2 weeks ago, we just hung out. This is at the Crowded Barrel at the Wizard Academy. We're just chatting. We ended up talking an awful lot about George Lowe, Space Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Just what a character he is.
Panty pudding.
Panty pudding.
Mr. Beefy.
Yeah, I guess apparently he's taken like a hard right turn in being very vocal about his MAGA politics or something.
Ooh. Man, certainly not shocked by that.
You mean
I've had one run-in with the man, and he struck me as somebody that very much wants the world to know what's on his mind.
Yeah, no kidding.
Although, by the way,
Hi.
certainly erratic, but a fun guy. Certainly not as bad as some of the other people that were meaner.
Super funny. That was when we got to meet C. Martin Croker too, before he died. Zorak.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. No, yeah. We got to give LeVar Burton a beer.
Oh, that's right. And LeVar Burton was like genuinely like he got excited because it was wrapped and said Dharma Initiative non-alcoholic beverage, and he was like, "Oh, thank you." And he freezes it. He goes, "It's not an energy drink, is it?" And we're like, "No, it's Natty Light." And he goes, "Oh God, good." And he popped it open and started drinking at the booth. It was great.
That was my own reading Rainbow moment. I should have told him, "Don't take my word for it. Drink it yourself."
Man, I got
Bonnie,
served.
did I hear a Bonnie? Did I hear a wild Bonnie appear?
Hello. How are you?
Ahoy!
Hold on.
Hi, Bonnie. We've got Mikey on in a little bit, so we should get started in a few minutes here if anybody needs to go do
Yeah.
their
Go do
things.
those
We're gonna do the
things.
things.
Do things.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, then I'll drink this rest of this gin and tonic fast and then go make myself another instead.
happen.
So, man, what's going on? I was trying to think when the next time I'm going to be in Austin is, and I guess we don't exactly know because the Out of Bounds Festival hasn't told us when our show is.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess we don't know the specific date, but we know which range of
We know the
dates.
range. It's going to be the week before Dragon Con.
Right.
So I'll be flying most.
Just come the whole week. Just
oh,
I mean,
we-
I might. I don't know. That's a long time though. This is always what I do because I'm always like, to be totally honest, it actually kind of makes sense for me to be there for longer because it makes sense for me just in general to be close to a podcast studio where I can do all my podcasts.
yeah. And we could do another bank. We could just do a bank for funsies.
yeah.
We could always have a have an extra. Actually, before we start the show, let me give a big shout out to a friend of this program, Willie Dills Gregory. He announced that he's leaving the Angry Chicken on their episode today, and he's doing it because he wants to take time for mental health. He's got a lot of stuff, and look, I can tell you this: being, your favorite streamers and YouTube creators and podcast hosts, like nobody's really gonna want to bitch about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly because the job kind of rules compared to like a lot of people's jobs, and a lot of people who have jobs that suck and they know that they suck. They listen to podcasts because they want to get away, and they don't or they watch YouTube content or they watch Twitch content because they want to get away, and nobody wants to hear about that. Even if you're trying to share. And then the dual sword is that when you're doing these things, you're sharing your life, right? You're sharing what's going on in your world. You're sharing every little element of it, and but sometimes, like anyone else, we're human too. We're not just content machines.
He was doing a lot of stuff. I mean, he was also streaming, and I know he was he had another real job on top of that. So that stuff will burn you out. I was talking with Mike on Trending Lemon, and you just hear him talk about it, and you're just like, you're going too hard,
It's a lot. And so I just want to take a moment, because Dills is a known quantity to so many of us, and we love Dills so much that number one, I'm totally in support of him stepping back, taking a break. It takes balls to look at the amount of money that he's making from the Patreon and say, I would like to not have this to talk about a card game for an hour a week. Like that's hard. It's hard to say no to that kind of money, and it takes balls to do. So big shout out, everybody! Hit up at Willie Dills on Twitter. Let him know that we love him, and he's still going to be doing the 1-900 Wrestling Show. He's going to be streaming every once in a while, according to the episode. But nothing but love from us, and also big love, obviously, to Joss and Garrett, who are going to keep going with that show. It's an amazing show. It's one of my favorites, It's the only video game show that I listen to, aside from Video Games with Bryce,
That's
of
right.
course.
Every episode. You've listened to every episode.
I've listened to every single episode. But yeah, so big shout out
Yeah.
to Dills. Much love to him.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, Brian. Brian
Yo,
you're
yo, 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 yo.
This isn't because Brian hit legend, is it?
Hey, look, man. There's only so much room at the top. Somebody's got to stop hosting a podcast.
He heard there was a new kid in town.
He's like, man, I don't even want to wait for the day he comes for my gig.
Justin, I saw your tweet about your thing this weekend, so you should
Oh,
probably
shit. Yes.
you should
we
probably promote it
plug-
at some point.
All right. So here we go. We've gone all month.
Do you want to just do it in the actual show so it's actually
We'll do it in the actual show. We'll do it in the actual show. We'll do it right at the top so people can come out and see it. But yeah.
We've like every night attack we've finished for the past 2 months has ended with like once we turn the stream off, Jessica goes, God damn it! I was gonna promote the San Francisco show that he's doing. So
No, this has been, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but both for Brian and I, we've never been able to find the natural right place where we just naturally like, oh, you like us? You've been with us for 10 years. Please now hear about this ware I have to sell, or hear about this show that I'm doing. It's always like, even when we work it in, it's always, okay, so I don't know. I'm doing a thing. Whatever. URL.
Like, you don't have to like it. Whatever. In fact,
Stop yelling at me, Dad. Anyway,
yeah. Justin, did you need to go freshen your drink?
trying to chug this.
Okay.
All right.
We got Mikey coming in at 40 after, so
oh, right
I
on.
guess 20 till.
Yeah, no, we
Whatever.
got this. We got this.
Brian,
Yes.
I did something with my phone.
Uh-oh.
What's going on with your mic?
Did you jailbreak
Sorry.
it?
Oh, you're adjusting it. No, but I did get on that new iOS public beta,
Oh?
and can I can I show you the coolest thing about it?
Well, yeah, we
Here,
are
actually,
the
you
number
can do
one
it
tech
yourself.
podcast.
Here you go.
Whoa!
Man, that was gonna tuck this guy behind.
All right, now so it looks like a normal iPhone, right?
Well, sure,
You do
yeah.
a swipe and it's all there.
Yeah.
Now, on the left side of the phone, why don't you hit those volume rockers for me?
Oh, you get to see the volume.
It's not in the middle of the fucking screen.
Oh, that's of course. Why would you not? Why was it ever not this? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a very small, dumb thing, but every time I see it, I'm like, oh, thank God it's not in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
Because even, they had that thing where they changed it for when you were watching some types of videos. But
They
even
made
then, it
it.
wasn't for all videos. So you always had a huge thing right in the middle of the video
Yeah.
you're watching. So now it's on the side.
I'll tell you what. I would love to find out is whether or not activating Siri while it's in your pocket also unlocks the screen.
Oh, jeez.
You know that's my white rabbit that I don't understand.
What?
Though I've
Well, if your phone is in your pocket and you have the earbuds in,
Right.
and you hold down to activate Siri, the screen becomes active and touchable, which is
What?
if you're activating it with the earbuds, then almost certainly that means that it's not in your hands. And so
Right.
to unlock the screen means your thigh is just mashing buttons when you have
Ooh, what are
when you
them
have
thighs
Siri call
doing?
someone.
What are your thighs mashing?
The buttons? What?
Button? I don't know.
Mashing
It
them
just
butts?
sounded exciting.
Yeah.
So, that's
What's
kind
up,
of
Mom?
weird because shouldn't you have Face ID for that?
Yeah. Well,
not necessarily
Or
if you
thigh
are trying to make a
ID,
call. Because
or-
mostly it's not with Siri, but it's with the phone call that you've had the issue with.
right. Well, you tell Siri to answer a call or to make a call, and it unlocks the phone, and then it mashes and all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because it has a proximity sensor. It knows, because it'll do it when... So I don't know. It's a weird thing. I've never had that.
Yeah.
Though I have noticed that Hey Siri has gotten better about... I had to look at my phone just to make sure it didn't go off. Because I think initially when they had that command that you would have to say it and then wait for it to beep because it would not really pick it up. I've noticed, and I don't know if it's because if it's just they've gotten better at it, but you don't need to wait anymore.
Hey, I just want to say that I know we were real. We were discussing it in private, but I really did want to express that J. Van Allen 93 has always been my favorite fan.
It's his birthday today.
That's why I was bringing it up, because I know all of this. Because when you only care about one fan, it's very easy to
Brian,
know all of these
I've heard
things.
you talk about this.
But
We may or may not have that on the other computer right now.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh.
To be named the Clip Boss.
We have an email coming up at the end of the show.
Yep,
an email
good
coming
old
up at the
J. Van Allen
J. Van Allen,
93.
that's right.
Always and forever has always been my favorite.
That's right.
Oh shit! Are we? I literally had my Skype window blocking.
Oh,
the
I'm sorry. I might have mispronounced it. It's written that way, but it's pronounced Your Man Jeff 1.
Gotcha.
Psych,
Nope,
it's actually
okay.
pronounced Wanyam.
So no bullshit. I had like the floating Skype window in front of the bit leaderboard, and initially, as soon as I hear Brian going to like full shill mode of like, oh, I'm on my best friend, is like, oh my god, is it happening again? Like,
Hey man, like I just want to recognize my favorite fan, who's always been Your Man Jeff 1. He's always been the best.
yeah, I mean the 1 stands for number 1. A lot of people miss that.
It does. It's not Your Man Jeff also ran. It's Your Man Jeff 1. He's the only. He's our
Exactly.
one fan that I care about.
Yeah,
That's
like 1 in that it's binary, that everyone else is a 0.
But the 1 is spelled WON because he won our hearts.
Because he won it. He won it. Number
Yeah,
1.
sure.
WON. Suck it, everyone else.
Okay, you guys want to do your show?
The Oneaters.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to the Oneaters.
Yeah, man.
Is it?
I say let's light this candle.
All right, here we go.
Is that really the cover?
I guess it's broken or something. I don't think he linked it right, so we don't have one. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Hey, Wanyam, you're the best. Fuck everyone else.
Yeah, no, they're all pieces of shit.